So some pretty good news today for GameStop, and I wanted to make sure that I talked about it. I still think GameStop fundamentally is a crap company. I've said it from the beginning, and I'll say it again. Fundamentally, it does not make any money. It loses money quarter after quarter, but this whole meme stock movement and with its share buybacks and being able to liquidate $4 to $5 billion in cash, it bought the company time. I've even responded to people's comment with that exact phrase where, no, it's not that GameStop has become a better company. It's that this entire movement has really put GameStop in a very fortunate position. And it looks like today, Citron Research, which was one of the companies that I think took a 100% loss short selling GameStop back in 2021, shared that Citron is no longer short on GME. It's not because we believe in a turnaround for the company's fundamentals will ever happen, which again, I agree. I'm sure a lot of you guys agree. Fundamentally, the company just isn't there. But with $4 billion in the bank, they have enough runway to appease their cult-like shareholders. Now, this is where the shade begins, and I actually think it's quite funny. But it's true. The $4 billion in the bank, I mean, they can literally put it into treasury bonds, and that would make them $200 million a year just off of interest. And even with their burn rate of like $30 to $50 million that they're burning through per quarter, overall per year, they'll still end up in the green if they're, letting people borrow their $4 billion, right? So something that they have to take into consideration, that this company can stay afloat. They have a lot of cash available due to this entire movement. So they have enough runway to appease their cult-like shareholders. Despite Webush setting a target today at $11, we respect that the market's irrationality. After all, Dogecoin remains at a $20 billion entity. So again, this is where they kind of begin to throw some shade, which again, I'm sure that this is a tough post for Citron Research to share, but it's true. Like, there is this cult-like following. Dogecoin is at a $20 billion market cap pretty much. So while increased share count might temper with the mob mentality, Citron will be watching from the sidelines for now. By the way, the Kitty live stream was an insult to the capital markets. I don't know if that was supposed to be like a last-minute jab. I truly don't believe anyone that's part of this whole movement really cares if they were an insult to the capital markets. I can reassure you that based off of how Roaring Kitty has acted, he does not care. So I thought this tweet was, or the subtweet or whatever this is called, was pretty funny. It says, Roaring Kitty was an insult to capital markets and the capital markets are an insult to free trade. I mean, that was pretty well said, right? The thing that I wanted to share with you guys is, again, GameStop could earn interest off of the $4 billion. I mean, they can literally earn $200 million in annual interest just by being able to, allow their money to be borrowed by in treasury bonds. So that's the thing that, I mean, you can't really just overlook. So what this is saying is, now, the big concern is there's a lot of selling pressure today. I'm not too sure if that was because of the price target that was shared earlier today, and that's what led to some of that selling pressure, but that price target was actually shared during that pre-market session, I believe. So that really doesn't seem to be the case. But now we're trading at lows of $26. So I wanted to have an open conversation with you guys. I mean, it's at $26 per share. We're a little less than 10 days shy of when Roaring Kitty options expire. I think he has like 120,000 call options that expire on June 21st, and I think his strike price is like $21 per share. So that's kind of like the big number that a lot of people are paying attention to. Is he going to buy those shares? As long as he does his part and not exercising them and then creating more selling pressure, everything should be good for GameStop. I just want to remind you, yes, it does look like this big company that was short against GameStop might be paving the way for other companies to close out their short, because just like they said, with $4 billion in cash, it really does buy GameStop a lot of time. I've said it in the past before. I think it's common sense for GameStop to have sold that much of their shares at that price level, because they're simply doing their part in buying themselves time. GameStop fundamentally is not a good company, but obviously, as many of you guys have said, this is not you're not doing this for fundamental purposes. You're doing this because this was a heavily shorted stock. So it looks like one of your big dogs has now moved out of the way. We'll see if this creates enough buying pressure for it to actually begin to show signs of progress. Because if we look at this, and again, now this is just on the technical side, GameStop has a common support right around this $23, $24 support range. If we break below that, that's going to be very scary and very risky for Roaring Kitty, because again, his strike price is right around $21 a share. If it falls below that strike price of $21, his call options become worthless, right? I think he paid about, I forgot the exact number. It was 5 million shares. I think it was like $65 million in call options. I'm not too sure exactly what it was, but obviously it's a very, very risky position to be in. So we'll see as we get closer to that June 21st date to see if it actually begins to indicate signs of recovery and actual progress. That's the biggest thing that I always look for any stock, right? Especially direction based. When it comes down to trading something, I don't care so much about indicators. All I care about is price action. Is it showing signs of progress on the upside? And we're just not getting that right now for GameStop. But we will see that shortly after all of this news gets factored in, to see if we begin to see enough people build the confidence to continue to buy and hold into GameStop, bringing up the price, running some more short sellers out of GameStop itself. You guys know that I've said it from the beginning, and I'll say it again. I do not care. I will go long with GameStop just like I did today. I will go short with GameStop just like I have in the past. I've been very open with you guys from the very beginning. I know a handful of you guys do not like that I actively trade GameStop, but I would rather be someone that's open to you rather than pretend to be like I'm part of your movement, and then on the back end, I do something else to just take profits. From 2021, I've been covering this, and I've said that I've openly been willing to go long and to go short. My focus is not to carry one of these positions overnight, but to simply focus on the trade because it's too risky of a stock for me to carry it overnight. And that's just the way that I prefer to trade. Just because I do something doesn't mean that you need to. But again, I like to talk about all of the bad about GameStop, but I also want to make sure that I cover the good. I hope that it earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. Feel free to share this video with someone that you think that would benefit from it. And I hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. Remember, I do trade live every morning. You get to see all of my entries and all of my exits during this live session. And it's the second link in the description down below whenever you feel like you are ready. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.